My name is Thenral from Agricultural College and Research Institute, Kilikulam, and this is a brief introduction about transportation, advantages, roles, modes of transportation and its problems. Transportation. In agriculture, transportation plays an important role. Let's see about it. In every marketing function, at every stage, transportation has an important role. It is the movement of products between the places. All agricultural commodities is bought from the farm and then it is transported to local market, and from there it is transported to primary wholesale market, to secondary wholesale market and to retail market. Ultimately it leads to consumers, that is right from the threshing floor and to the point of consumption. Definition of transportation. Transport or transportation is an indispensable marketing function, which means it is absolutely necessary. It has important role and it is increased with urbanization. For the development of trade in any commodity or in any area, transportation has a significant role. Trade and transport go side by side, and which one reinforces another and strengthens the other. Advantages of transportation. Transportation helps in the development of widening markets by bridging the gap between the producers and consumers located in different areas. For example, Himachal or Kashmir apples. The producers are located mainly in the states of Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, but the apples are consumed throughout the country. This is the best example of widening the market. Narrowing price difference over space. In transportation of goods is taken from surplus areas to the place of scarcity, where in surplus areas there is a fall in price and in the scarcity areas the price is raised. The transport function provides employment to a large number of persons through the consumption of roads, loading and unloading, the transportation and repair services. Facilitation of specialized farming. Transportation helps in the transformation of economy from the subsistence stage to the development of commercial stage. Mobility of factors of production. Transport helps in increasing the mobility of capital and labor from one area to the another. And then now comes to the mode of transportation. The types of transport are land, water, air. From land, there are two types, road and railways. In water, river, sea, canals. In air is airway. For in road, the transports are cycle rickshaw, bullock or camel cart, tractors, trucks, buses, etc. In water, from river and sea canals, there are ships are going on. In airway, the aeroplanes and helicopters. The transportation of agricultural commodities is mainly done by bullock or camel carts, tractor, trolleys, trucks. They all depending upon the availability, quantity and the stage of marketing. According to the Acharya, on marketing of pulses in Rajasthan, the total quantity transported by the farmers to the primary markets, 58.4% which is carried by animal cart, 27.6% is carried by tractor trolleys, 5% is carried by trucks and 9% is carried by other modes. Let's see about bullock or camel cart. Bullock or camel cart is still play an important means of transport employed by the majority of Indian farmers. It is the old transportation, but it still play an important role. It is the best suited vehicle in agricultural commodities of the country where all villages are not connected by the tar roads. It is used in rural areas and its carrying capacity is approximately 5 to 10 quintals. Its speed is 2.8 to 3 km per hour. Cost of transportation is high. In spite of all these problems, it is popular and indispensable. Because why it's popular means it is very cheap, easily available and convenience for farmers. Operational cost is low. It can be used on roads, kacha paths and even in sand areas. It generates employment for village artisans, no need of extra repair costs, multi-purpose transport. Transportation infrastructure. Transportation infrastructure consists of roads, railways and transport vehicles. Road transport. The number of vehicles running on this road is increased considerably in the country. The problem is the surface road only 50% of the total length on the country. The status in India is it is poor in eastern states like Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, Bihar, Tripura, Orissa were 40% of the surface road only covered. But it was well developed in Punjab, Haryana and Maharashtra. Here you can see the road transportation. Now railway transport. The number of good carriers is 0.8 to 26.81 lakhs. Route length of electrified railways 0.4 to 14.9 lakh kilometers. Haulage of goods is 44.1 to 31.5 billion tons kilometer. These all increased in last 50 years of status. The railway route availability is poor in Madhya Pradesh, Orissa and Karnataka. Now let's see about transportation costs. Transportation cost accounts for about 50% of the total cost of marketing. It is higher when the produce is transported by bullock or camel carts. The efficiency of transportation depends on the speed and the care with which the goods move from one place to another, extent of the facilities provided, degree of care with which the goods are handled en route at terminal stations. However, there is a need for reducing the cost of transportation. The factors affecting the cost of transportation are distance. With an increase in the distance over which a commodity is transported, the total transportation cost increases, but the transportation cost per quantity of the produce decreases after a certain distance. The transportation per unit quantity of a commodity decreases with the increase in the volume, in the quantity of the product. The mode of transportation. The cost of transportation varies with the mode of transportation. Example, bullock cart, tractor, truck, railway, etc. In condition of the road, the cost of transportation is less where metal or tar roads have been constructed than in places where gravel road exists. Perishability, nature of products. Bulkiness, fragility, inflammability, requirement of a special type of facility, for example for livestock and milk. Risk associate, availability of written genic consignment. Problems in agricultural transportation. The problem in the transportation of agricultural commodities are very serious because the special factors associated with them. For example, the perishability of the produce, its bulkiness, the small quantity in which it is available and a large number of suppliers and purchases. So some of the important problems arising are the mean of transportation used are slow moving, lack of coordination between the different transportation. For example, the railways and truck companies. Some of the places are not connected by the railways. There are more losses or damages in transportation because of use of poor packaging materials, overloading of produce, poor handling. The multi-guard system of railways was also a serious problem in transportation of goods by railways. However, now the country is moving towards a uni-guard system which augurs well for marketing of farm produce. Suggestion for improvement. The following are some of the suggestions for effecting transportation improvements and reducing transport cost. Full utilization of transport facility is reduce the per quintal cost of transportation. Fixing the rate of transportation in different means. There should be a reduction in spoilage, damage, breakage and during the period of movement as a result of better handling, packaging and the use of proper types of wagons. There should be a reduction in barrier of interstate movement of the produce, which should reduce the quantity of fuel consumed and time in transportation. The speed and capacity of the vehicle used in transportation should be increased. This can be done by research in respective areas. The speed and capacity of the bullock cart can be increased by the use of pneumatic tires instead of the existing wooden and iron wheels, the use of springs in the axle of the cart, the development of at least good all-weather roads in the rural areas. The overall scheme of the public investment development of infrastructure should receive more allocation. Construction of over bridges for roads and bypasses to avoid populated areas is absolutely an urgent necessity. A developed country isn't a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. Thank you.